Ken very graciously told me that he omitted my bio on your sheet, so he asked me to introduce myself. So the title of my fourth book is Make Humanity Great Again, God, Our Children, and My Journey. I grew up on a farm in Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, dairy farm, and my greatest fear of, as a child, and perhaps some of you experienced that too, was the fear that the Russians would come and drop a bomb on us. Did any of you have that? Yes. And so what happened in 1991, I was invited to Russia to teach doctors, and I was there many years. And then when I was a very young child, I would sit at the piano playing the Blue Danube Waltz and long for faraway places. Little did I know that someday I would live by the Danube River. And as a very young child, I would try to help the children who were having learning problems in school. And little did I know that I would become a Montessori teacher on 3 continents. So my world was my playground. So for the last, since 1964, I was an educator, and I also was started at the University of Dijon, traveling the world when I was in college, and then it was all over the world. And finally, the last 30 years, I've been teaching doctors, lawyers, teachers, primarily in Eastern Europe, and I've written 4 books. My 5th one is about to be produced, and I have been working with kinesiology, which is the origin, insertion, and movement of muscles, and how stress affects it. So my first book was of infinite potential, because I believe within each one of us we have incredible abilities, and they are blocked because fear of pain and fear of more pain, which is totally in my book. This was my next book, Hello Stress, Goodbye Stress, Hello Happiness, How to Get Rid of Our Stress. And Aristotle told us about kinesiology a long time ago, and it really, really works. And as my 16,000 graduates in all of these countries have told us. So I would like to read just a synopsis of some of my chapters and share those with you. So we have, all of us have an incredible journey. And I believe that even before we were formed in our mother's womb, we had a purpose. And it's so wonderful to be on your purpose, because we do have a purpose. So my book is primarily about getting back to our purpose and to live a life of abundance and happiness and joy. When we get rid of our stress, stress is our greatest killer. So I would like to read some of the areas that I have written in a lot of the chapters of my book. So, the history of Montessori education. Dr. Maria Montessori, 1870 to 1952, was the first female Italian physician who worked with children in the slums of Rome. She found that the very young children in the first 6 years of life learned very effortlessly, and she simply gave them an opportunity. They called them miracle children. She said they weren't miracle children, they were just children who were given a proper method and materials to learn. And the Montessori method teaches children how to think, not what to think. The basic principles of Montessori education emphasize the natural way a child can develop into a confident, loving, caring person. Built into the system are independence, concentration, respect, dignity, freedom of movement, sense of order, self-motivation, the importance of time, and the importance of model adults. And the theme of Montessori is help me to help myself. Our children are our future, our most precious gift, and their early years are the most formative years. And they will become an adult from what those first 6 years mold into them. Learning is to enjoy, to satisfy, and to fulfill their curiosity. Not only are academics emphasized in this method, but love of nature, social graces, and major life experiences are embraced in this method and are in focus. My life's journey from outside a tiny remote village in central Pennsylvania, I came into the world on the first day of spring. Spending the next 23 years there would mold my life and prepare me for the future that lay ahead. It has been a wonder-filled, exciting life and continues to be. My journey to Sicily, Italy, after the University of Dijon, my next European stay would be on the island of Sicily on the Mediterranean Sea. Due to my husband's job, after 7 years of teaching and attending night classes for my master's degree, my time in Syracuse was a perfectly welcome vacation and a great location for which to explore the whole of Italy, islands, and the mainland. The first journey to the Netherlands, Holland. After Sicily, my husband was transferred to the Netherlands, land of tulips, windmills, and wooden shoes. I joined the American Church of the Hague Choir and the International Women's Club, and substituted at the American School of The Hague. I love the friendly, kind Dutch people and the expatriates who were there. Then we went back to New Jersey, and then to Gillette, Wyoming, which was Cowboy City. The businessmen were going to their offices in their cowboy hats and their boots. It was from the East Coast, it was another world. Then our journey to Venezuela. Back again in New Jersey, we welcomed our son with our 2 daughters, and when our children were 2, 4, and 6, we packed up for Venezuela. On the plane, I met an iron worker who told me about Dr. Maria Montessori. When his wife joined him, we met, collaborated, and within 1 month, we had 35 2.5 to 5-year-olds in my home every day. And I was absolutely amazed at the results. These very young children could learn to read and write, do math, and take care of themselves. We went back to New Jersey and then back to the Netherlands. And the journey was like going home again, picking up where I left off with friends and church, but now with 3 children. I was teaching in the Dutch Montessori school that our son attended. Like in Venezuela, when Montessori entered my life, there would again be a monumental change for me in the Netherlands, learning kinesiology. My husband said we were there for me. So God, getting back to God, God fills that place in our hearts through the sacrifice of Jesus. When we are each returned to that wholeness and love, then our children, family, communities, church, schools, government, organizations, countries, and world are made more whole again. But how do we keep our children whole? Kinesiology. God has created the most amazing computer system within the human body. By muscle testing, strength or weakness, we can find out what stresses the body, what part is affected, and how to return the flow of energy to the part of the body and the brain and heal the body, mind, and soul. It is so gentle, non-invasive, efficient, and intelligent. No level of AI could ever replace the knowledge that is within our body. Next chapter, my journey to Russia. In 1991, I began teaching kinesiology to doctors in Moscow with over 200 students regularly for many years. After my first trip, I brought 15 Moscovite teens and 3 teachers to New Jersey with 1.5 weeks to plan it. For several years, I worked at Camp Artek in the Crimea with 400 different children daily. I work with survivors of Chernobyl and with the Bolshoi Theater children. I spoke at the UNESCO Peace Conference at the Russian Parliament and appeared often on television. My journey to Hungary. On my first night in Hungary, I lectured for 1,200 people, and it was televised. In Budapest, I started a Montessori preschool, which is still functioning today, and trained Montessori teachers for 9 summers. I taught thousands of students kinesiology, worked in a school for challenged children, and wrote for online Hungarian newspapers. My journey to the Slovak and the Czech Republic followed. Prague was like living in a fairy tale, teaching in the 500-year-old Smetana Theater, overlooking the Charles Bridge. In addition to teaching kinesiology, I was doing many TV interviews, hosting international conferences, setting up Montessori preschools and schools, and training Montessori teachers for 9 years here and in Hungary. Then on to Poland. Warsaw was hit hard during the Great Resistance in World War II. As I taught kinesiology, we worked on releasing stress of generations. After the Nazis destroyed their cultural buildings and 90% of Warsaw, in came the control of communism. I found the Poles to be very, very kind. We went back to the United States after that, and I arrived in December of 2019 and felt called to work politically, which I have been doing since. But in closing, my purpose of writing this book is to share my exciting life stories. But the biggest purpose is to help and to highlight the importance of bringing God back into our lives. We can feel there is a huge awakening happening now in the world, in their people's hearts. And we're feeling the void that our young people are feeling because they've tried drugs, they've tried alcohol, they've tried sex, they've tried so many things, and they found that that void is in their heart. So what they are doing now is coming back to God. And we're having a beautiful revival in the world, and we are all part of it. And we are here for this special time. And God bless you, and God bless America and the world. Thank you. And one of my clients is here tonight, and she had a universal reaction to all chemicals, and now she can go out in public and be with people.